So I'm sure a lot of you know what's happened with my ruptured appendix. I'm alive, which was touch and go for a while there. I know there were some of you not in this room who cheered. It was funny, I think it was Lisa said to me, talking about a month ago, hey, are you going to still scream around? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not changing that. So, anyways, welcome. I appreciate everybody being here. Stephen's got a lot of material to go over, so I'm only going to speak for a few minutes. Thank God. So I got a couple of announcements. We've got a couple of vendors to bring up. So first and foremost, let's bring, I'm looking at John thinking, what the hell's his name? John and Dave, come on up. After you. No, after you. So not only is this a welcome back to me being back finally, which I haven't been back for weeks, it's a welcome back our own Dave Gonzalez. He is our lender again.
I didn't hear any boos. I'm so glad to hear that.
He came from the dark side, was out away from the dark side, and he got pulled back. Kind of like a rock back, you get it cleared up and it comes back. So welcome, Dave. I appreciate you coming.
Jeff, I appreciate it.
You have a few good words for us?
Yeah, it's really good to see everybody, and it's good to be seen, especially as we get older. I see a lot of familiar faces, good friends, and we have a lot of history, right, Sissy? Rose. Yeah, so many people here that I've worked with over the last 5 or 6 years, and it's great to see everybody again. So I'm really hoping to help everybody, including John, who, poor guy, man, this guy is stretched thin, so I'm going to try to help him out a little bit. One thing I want to tell you real quick is I found out yesterday Epic has over 1,100 loan programs. So come on, guys. If you can't find a loan program to get your buyers qualified, then you're not trying hard. We'll try hard for you. Okay, we'll do it for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So great to be back. I'm in a training class right now, so I got to run, Jeff. Guys, thanks so much. My office is always open.
He'll be taking the office back again, so he'll be right there downstairs in our office.
Yeah, moving like I own the place. Okay.
Yes. All right, great, Dave. Thanks, John. You got a couple words?
I mean, it's been a while. So since you guys, I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about the new Workers Advantage program. There's plenty of loans out there. There's plenty of options to get your buyers qualified. It's a new year. It's time to get back to work. So this, I promise, I'm gonna go out. This will be your best year in the last few years.
Yes, absolutely.
If you make it your best.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what Stephen's going to talk about, what's going on 26th. I think he might touch a little bit on 27th. So welcome, John. Appreciate you coming back and stuffing it out while I was gone.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. All right, Lisa, you want to go and say hi? Give Lisa a big hand. You guys, we have plenty of food. If you don't need it now, we're going to have it next week.
I was going to say, nobody's going hungry today.
Yes.
So, hi guys, good morning, Happy New Year, all the good things, nice to see you. Some new faces. I am Lisa Waldeck with the Chosen Home Warranty, one of your preferred home warranty partners. Reach out to me. We all three offer 3 different products and 3 different styles of how we handle home warranties. So reach out to me. Let's talk about home warranty, what we do different than the traditional home warranty models that you're used to. One thing I like to say, what we do a little bit different is we live in an Amazon world, guys. I said we're used to getting everything tomorrow. If they tell us your package is going to arrive between 4 and 8 tomorrow, I'm up at 5 o'clock wondering why it's not at my front door. We're just used to having that immediate need for speed. We do provide that with the Chosen Home Warranty because we do allow the homeowner to choose their own contractor when they have to file a claim. It makes it really easy, so if they have somebody that they can get out there the same day, the next day, something like that, it's a wonderful thing. Get them up, taken care of, get the vendor paid the same day, and everybody is happy. So again, I'll be here for the meeting. I'm excited to hear what's coming on for 2026. I'm already seeing a lot of things. I think just by momentum, what's going on in the market, I think we're going to see a great year and great meeting.
I agree with you. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Stacia, come up and say hi. Give her a big hand. She wasn't actually supposed to be here today, but there was a snafu, I guess, in Green Valley.
Cancellation. So I
Yeah, it's kind of good for Jim.
normally the 4th Tuesday of every month I'm in Green Valley, and I got a text this morning and he had a CE class, so they weren't going to have their meeting.
How about some burritos?
And I had burritos in the oven, so I was like, ladies, can I come? Because I don't know what I'm going to do with 30 burritos. I'm vegan.
Right. Oh, there you go. I like it.
Because those are going to last forever if I
Good, good.
So,
All right.
good morning. morning. I feel like if I haven't seen you, Happy New Year. We're still on the first month of the year, so I feel like I can still say that for a little bit longer. I hope you all had a lovely holiday. And just like Lisa said, we all offer a little something different. So although you should never consider your warranty an emergency service or a service contract. And I would just love the opportunity for you to all make some time, sit down, talk to me, set an appointment with me. My number's on everything pretty much that I ever give you, and business cards are downstairs. Let's see if I'm a good fit for what some of your clients need, or if I'm not, and that's okay too. But I'd love to educate you on what we are, what we're not. And if you're looking for different ways to market yourself, or maybe you're just starting to market yourself and you're not really sure where to start, please sign up for my free agent toolbox. And that will have some templates in there that are just plug and play. You upload your photo, your logo, always your business license numbers so that you're in compliance. And then, it goes into newsletters, or it goes into different flyers, moving guides, home buyer guides. Just get in there and poke around. And if I can help you with anything, if I can answer a question, if I can talk anybody off a ledge, if you have a really challenging client and you want me to speak with them because, my business is home warranties, just, please reach out to me and I'll answer anything I can, and I'll be honest, which means that sometimes you don't hear what you want to hear, but it's honest. So, thank you so much.
Thank you, Stacy. Appreciate it. Good job. All right, Heather, you want to come say hi? Give her a big hand. Heather, rock.
Good morning,
And you don't have a
everybody.
boot on.
Yeah, I got shoes on this week. I had surgery on my foot again last month, so I'm hobbling still a little bit. So, thank you, everybody. Most of you guys know me. If I haven't met you personally, I'm sure we've communicated via email or over the phone or text. So I'm always available. Ideally Monday through Friday, but occasionally I'm available on the weekend as well. A couple things that I have going on. You guys may have seen me post this. This is going to be in the Summerlin office. It's going to be February 11th. One of the things I hear from all of you guys is I have a client and they need a painter, who do you know? Or they need a handyman, who do you know? An electrician, etc. So a lot of you guys are already working with people that you know, like, and trust. So if you have somebody that you want to recommend, the qualifications are on the back for our vendors. And we're going to have a booth and table out in the Summerlin office from 3 to 5, again on the 11th of February. It's going to be Valentine's theme. So it's going to be treats and wine and champagne. So I hope you guys can make it. If you guys have questions about it, let me know. I did get a lot of responses between last night and this morning already with vendors, so they're going to be filling up fast, I'm sure. But feel free to recommend anybody. And then back to title stuff, because that's what I do. So you guys get paid when you sell houses. I get paid when we get escrows that close. So if you guys can help me with that, I'd appreciate it. That's what I'm here for. So help you guys with your marketing. If you're not working with one of our escrow officers now, I would be happy to make that introduction. So you are working with one of our escrow officers. We have 2 locations. One's Russell 215. The other one is in Green Valley. That one is attached to the Realty One office out there. We do farms, we do property profiles, we do pre-listing prelims, we give discounts in different categories, so just reach out to me with questions. If you are newer, I usually have a class once a month. I'll have to get with these guys and see when, maybe one of these Tuesdays after the meeting, I'll have a class where I can get you guys all updated on our tools, maybe next Tuesday. If not, just find me and I'll try to get with you on that. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, without further ado, let's bring Steven up. He's getting a cup of water. He does a report on housing he's with. Does some amazing numbers. I don't know if he's going to touch on 25 at all, but he's definitely going over 26. The information that gives you so much. So take a deep breath. Get ready for all this. Up, man. The floor is yours. Thank you. Give a big hand, you guys.
So, just to make sure you guys are all awake, some fun photos to start off our presentation. Yeah, somebody misspelled my name, because Steve is really hard to spell. Anybody sell real estate during the Great Recession? especially here, we use these signs, differentiate our only seller with equity on the street type of thing. So I put it in the comedy section because it's not gonna happen this time around. Results realty didn't work for Roy, right? There you go. Homeowners are weird. Seriously, I know this dishwasher, you can start it and shut it.
Oh my God, I cut the countertop. Sorry.
Felt pretty dumb when he realized that he could actually press the button and push it in afterwards. Just when you think you've seen it all. This is an MLS photo. Yeah, this is what happens when you turn a half-back into a three-quarter back. Or this MLS photo. Disaster. That's called functional obsolescence. I don't even know what to do with it. Anybody laying in that bath? Nobody, ever. Next to the toilet, next to the emergency exit. This is an MLS photo too, but I think it was a vacation rental. That's the only reason why anything would look like that. Everybody wants to be like Vegas. This has acoustic ceilings. Awesome theater. Yeah, this is pink. I didn't know granite came in pink, but apparently it does. There you go. This is creepy. I was visiting this person that owns this studio, nobody. And then in November, 2 agents said they had a studio just like that on the market. 2 different agents. I couldn't believe it. So there's more than one creepy person out there. Several of them, actually. This is an agent was showing this house and took a photo of it and sent it to me. I thought it was funny. This is, I guess, a three-quarter bath turned into an atrium. Easy to water, though, right? This is dumb. Change it back before you place it on the market. The cost of waiting. Thank you for your patience. 2019 median home price $322. 2025 median home price $417. Price increase $95,000. Rent paid 6 years $54,000. Total loss $149,000. But hey, at least you didn't panic buy. Your landlord thanks you for your discipline. All right. So my introduction is I'm a quantitative economics decision science major. Been doing from UC San Diego and La Jolla. Horrible place to go to school. 35 years in business, Orange County, Cap Valley High School. Yeah, 9 kids. This is true. Some of you guys haven't. Who hasn't seen me before? Yeah, that's right. So a few people haven't seen it. That's great. You're in for a treat. So yes, I do have 9 kids. I'm a top producer. Nobody in here has me beat. I'm number 1. She just like have a little trophy they carry around. So I brought mine. She brought hers. We had them all the time. And we had 8 under the roof, and then they started to peel off, and we had Zeke. Zeke turns 8 in a couple weeks. Wow. Yeah, he's not that cute. He's like, seriously. He's 8. He hangs out with teenagers. And he's fun, that's for sure. And then that kid came to work for us 3 years this coming up May. After graduating from Washington State University. So I have somebody on the team that I get to talk to, economic backgrounds, my son. We talk at all ungodly hours. And then we have that gal, she's our oldest, she got married and she brought us this amazing creature. I'm a pop-pop. Pretty cool. We've been all over the press and Reports on Housing, your local real estate snapshot, this is what I do. It was on a plane. Some guy was telling me how he's here to some convention, so I was going to hear what the latest convention is. This is a construction convention. That's starting today, but I got to tell them what I do, and all I do is analyze data. I'm doing housing analytics, so that's what I get to do for a living. That's all I do, and that's our company, Reports on Housing. And I developed this actually in the '90s when I represented buyers and sellers, and that was just to cut through all the noise of what they were saying and what their neighbors were saying, what my own family was saying, neighbors. Everybody had an opinion when it came to real estate, so I just like to cut through all that noise by starting a report. And I have a mantra. I have a guiding light for myself, and that is no narratives. And just stick to the facts and data. And I do not like politics. I'm not into politics. Never have been. I will tell you what the economic, how any political agenda or anything out there, how it's going to trickle down to housing, because that's what you guys need to know. But I'm not into politics. It's not what feeds me at all. But so I try to cut through all the narratives. Very loud out there. It was loud in the '90s. It's worse now because now we have plenty of clickbait stuff that's constantly pushed our direction, and the more we click, the more that we get it. So narratives are really easy to get. It's easy to distribute out there, and so we developed the report as a way to cut through all that noise. And like I said, I represented buyers and sellers back in the day. I don't do it anymore because this is all I do. I'm doing housing analytics every day. And who has the report in here? So there's a hands. That's awesome. You guys are in for a treat. This is really a differentiator out there. Orange County is my biggest market. I've been doing it since 2004. And LA and San Diego are pretty huge markets. Clark is taking off. So I've had a lot of people that have been subscribing to the report. So we don't focus on closed sales data because that's a reflection of the past. Instead, I'm looking through the rearview mirror and I talk about supply and demand all the time. To the chagrin of most reporters, they say, he doesn't know what he's talking about, but yet I've been right for like decades now. And it's because you can get a lot from supply and demand and understanding the metrics behind them. So supply is the available number of homes to show your buyers today, and demand is a snapshot of pending sales activity. I take the last 30 days of pending sales activity. Because right now, things are changing, because we're now out of the holidays into a winter market. So from supply and demand, we have something called expected market time. I have removed days on market. I loathe days on market. It is a horrific statistic that we've been spoon-fed as an industry, and we think it's like a true gauge as to the speed of the market, and it's not. It will always be artificially low, and especially when a lot of homes come on the market, it gets even lower. And we oftentimes quote the closed sales data averages median days on market, and there's a lot of homes that are sold off market. They go into MLS as a placeholder. How many days on market do they get when they do that? 0. So when they do your medians and averages, it's artificially lower. And there's a lot of people that sell instantly, and there's a lot of people that languish on the market and cancel. They don't even get encapsulated in those closed sales statistics. So you have to be really careful what you're quoting out there. So that's why I came up with expected market time. It's, you place your home on the market, when are you going to open up as a pending sale? That's what everybody should care about. And I just take supply and do a division with demand. And from that, we're able to extrapolate how long it takes to sell houses in all different cities and counties all over the place. Just so you know, this will give you the difference between expected market time and days on market. The days on market is in pink. This is expected market time now. I started OC back in 2004. This was the Great Recession. We hit almost a 500-day expected market time. It was that slow. It was like stopped traffic. And back then, we had about a 90-day average days on market. You did not want to tell anybody your home was going to sell in 3 months back during the Great Recession. And then over here in 2012, my expected market time was way lower than days on market, which again was 90, and it didn't really encapsulate exactly how fast the market was moving. And I knew in 2012, look out, cook out, we were coming out of the Great Recession, things were really good, and that was the best time to purchase. And then again, during COVID, this was faster than the average days on market, and that's because during COVID, we were going so fast that days on market couldn't accurately depict what you were really feeling out there. I was getting into the teens in many markets. And when you get into the teens, that's pretty much where we're going out of control. You guys are writing offers $50,000, $75,000 above the asking price, and it's just a really dumb market, not a healthy market at all, which was kind of like 2012. But then right now, again, we are higher than days on market, and the reason for that is because it's a slower market out there. And there's homes coming on all the time. A whole bunch of homes came off. The ones that have been sitting on the market for a long time came off. And if you do average and medians, it's going to be a lot lower because you have a lot of new, fresh listings coming on right now. So that's just so you understand expected market time. I did that because so many people go, what is this expected market time? And you're going to see that it feels, wow, that's high. And you'll sell things faster. That's true. And then what you do is you show what the expected market time is, and then you show what you are able to do and show the difference, just like you would do with days on market or anything like that. It's just, this is a better statistic, in showing exactly how slow or fast the market is. Our reports are used for buyer-seller consultations to get price reductions, to get buyers off the fence, and to close more transactions by properly setting expectations. I'm in the expectation setting business, as are you. So what we're doing is we're trying to help you set expectations. That's really what it's like. When you read my reports, you go, that is exactly how I feel. And when I talk about the market, you're gonna say, that's exactly what's going on, because I really do know what's going on, and I'm able to articulate it and back it up with numbers so that you don't have to say what it is. You can say, this is gonna be important for Clark County. So we have reports that dot all over SoCal, the Bay Area, Phoenix, and Vegas, Clark County. And so we actually do have Mesquite. I have to have 2 different MLSs in order to get the Mesquite data. But just so you know, that's just the way it works. It works that way up in the Bay Area. Like, not as much the Bay Area, but there are certain areas where we have some issues as well. So Santa Barbara is a big one. So that's why we're not there. So people say, what do you do with the reports? Get it in front of every one of your buyers and sellers. It's that simple. Print it out, email it, but then have it at your open houses, farm with it, and utilize it within your sphere of influence marketing. Get it out to everybody. They will eat it up because every homeowner cares about their house, and they want to know what's really going on based upon all the noise that they're hearing out there. And there's plenty of the noise out there. Now, don't worry, I will give you a copy of this presentation because I travel fast in my presentations. I have a lot of slides, I go through them really quickly, and I talk fast. So I apologize ahead of time, but I'm going to give you just a fire hose of information. And that's not how our reports read though. So our reports, we focus on one topic. And then after the main topic, which you could just send out that one topic, so we have a link for it, but that one topic we talk about a little paragraph on supply, what's going on with demand, the speed of the market, expected market time, and luxury. And here we actually have a little paragraph on high rise, which is extremely slow. High rise is really getting hit hard right now, so just so you know. And then from there, there's charts and things like that that are below, this thing comes to you by email. And so these are some of the reports. I'm not going to go over all of them. It comes out every other week. There are 26 reports every single year. So a couple months, you get 3 reports. So more seller competition. There's a reason why we have more seller competition this last year than we had in previous years. We'll explain that. Welcome to a buyer's market. When it's sluggish and slow, it's a buyer's market. It does not mean we're having caving values. It just means that buyers get to call more of the shots. That's what it means. So will prices plunge? The answer is no. You need 3 ingredients in order for prices to plunge. And we only have one of the 3. And it's like when you're baking, you have to have all 3, or it just doesn't come out right. So in order for prices to plunge, you have to have all 3. I know that millennials and Gen Zs, if you ask them, it's like 60% think that the market is going to crash. And markets don't crash unless there's something really wrong inherently with the market. Great Recession, we did some pretty stupid things that made that happen. 1990s was the savings and loan scandal, and that was pretty much, Vegas had it a bit, but California was where they repeated themselves. They did it in the 80s, the end of the 80s, and then they did it again. So it's like, you don't think history repeats itself? It absolutely does. So prior to that, it was the Great Depression. So we don't have major values plunging at any given time. And I'll get into that. The buyer's roadmap, I put this together because there's still, even in Vegas, with as slow as it is, and it's very sluggish, there are still homes that come on the market that flies off the market, and it goes above the asking price. How come? And so I explain it in that. We're just trying to properly set expectations for buyers and sellers. Pricing for success, this is net less. I show that if you reduce the asking price, you will net less. And the more you reduce, the more that you throw away and essentially flush down the toilet. We actually repeat this twice a year. So if you want the one that came out, I think it was October for September, we can send you that. There are agents, actually ROG agents in Orange County that are sending it out to their clients the night before they meet with them. And it is, they send it out to their clients the night before they're meeting with them for a listing presentation, a listing consult. And it's properly setting their idea of price. Now they're really interested because now they realize if I don't price this right, then I reduce the asking price like so many people are going to do, I will actually throw away money. So that was the genesis of the report. We repeat it twice a year. So if you sign up today, you can put NetLess across the top and we can send that to you. So you can, and then when you have the conversation about price, they're really engaged and they're not going way over here in price. They know that they have to price it right. So light at the end of the tunnel, that is lower rates. We've been stuck with these low pending sales years, 23, 24, 25. They all look the same in every market. And it's very low compared to where we've been for like 20 years. It actually dates back to like 1995, the last time we had this kind of pending sales, which is also closed sales. So it's been quite some time. But there is light in the tunnel because we have lower rates, which means that 2026 most likely is going to be higher than the last 3 years. So we'll get out of that. We won't have quadruplets. We'll just stick those triplets right there and we'll move on. And I'll explain why in a moment. Slow out of the gate. It was slow at the beginning of the year. And that's just the way it works every year. This year was a lot slower than the other years. And I gave a depiction of it's going to get busier, and I used Trader Joe's chocolate croissants. Anybody ever had one of those? You guys have Trader Joe's here, right? Yeah. Have you ever had a chocolate croissant? You're going to go get one after you hear about that. It's frozen things. They come in 4, and you stick them. You're wondering how in the world these are going to become croissants. You stick them on the baking sheet overnight, and you wake up and they're big. And then you stick them in the oven, and for 20 minutes, and then you pull them out. They have to cool for 10 minutes, so it's a 30-minute wait. And these things are delectable. So you will not believe chocolate croissants. And then I used their quote. They said, what it was, they said, made with creamy butter and filled with rich, semi-sweet Belgian chocolate. Trader Joe's chocolate croissants bring high-end bakery quality to your home and kitchen with minimal effort. So I utilize those kind of things so that people understand. It's usually my introductory paragraph brings them in so they understand, okay, the market might be frozen right now, but it's going to change real fast. And that's really what this is all about. So slow out of the gate, prepare for launch. That is the report that's actually coming out tonight for Vegas, and that's just because we're about to just totally launch and kick butt, and then we come to Super Bowl and we say, this is the best time of the year to come on the market. So it's actually a little bit later than that, later in February, but we're close. And by the way, Super Bowl used to be in January, so we've been saying Super Bowls in the industry for a very long time, and it moved a week later, so I don't understand why we keep saying Super Bowl. It's actually middle of February, closer to Valentine's Day. It's a really good time to come on. So reportsandhouses.com, that's where you go to subscribe. It's $20 per month or $200 per year, and you get a month free if you sign up utilizing this card authorization form. I have it with me. It just stays on my person. I go home. I do not have a big office. I have my own private office with a lock on there because I have so many kids. It requires your thumbprint. Nobody can get into my office except for me and my wife. That is it. So my junk food of choice is anything that has to do with economics. I absolutely live and breathe economics. So know that. It's not politics, it's economics. And we have an economic model we follow. It's a progression model because things are constantly changing and evolving. So now we're going to get into a mortgage rate update. This is Federal Reserve. They're meeting right now, actually. They're going to release tomorrow that they're not going to do anything with interest rates, and it'll be one of the last few times where Jerome Powell's even able to speak as the head of the Federal Reserve. So, but I want everybody to know that Jerome Powell is one person, and that's it, one person. And he's right here. But all of those people around there are actually a part of the board. There's 19 of them total, 19. Only 12 of them get a vote, some of them rotate. But it's not, even if you were to get rid of him, it doesn't matter. It's still, the rates won't plunge. I had some agents, typically late in the evening after they've been drinking some wine or something, text me and say, if they fired Jerome Powell, what are going to happen with interest rates? And my response is always nothing. Nothing will happen to interest rates if you fire one person with one vote. Because the way it works is there's 12 of them that get to vote, and it takes 7 out of 12 in order for them to make rates go down or go up. And if it's tied, they stay the same, 6 out of 12. And 7 of the Board of Governors are installed by the President of the United States. Jerome Powell is one of those. He actually, when he's done in May, might do something unprecedented, and that is he has 2 more years of his term. He might stay on for the integrity of the Federal Reserve System. And if do your own research, if you have, if you're like stuck in the politics and all the noise out there, just research Burns and Nixon so that you can understand what happens when an administration tries to manipulate the Federal Reserve. It's not a good outcome, just so you guys know. That's why most economists across the United States say, leave the Federal Reserve alone. And there are, like I said, 7 installed by the president. The other 6, New York, there are 5 regional presidents that vote. New York gets a vote every single time. These other 4 rotate on an every other year or every 3-year basis, which means but they're still sitting at the table. So that's what, and they are installed by a board of directors of regional banks. Just so you understand, this is how it works. So this is all that a presidential administration has in their power. They don't really have the same power over here with the regional banking system. It's not going to change the way that these governors work. And the reason for that is because they don't want a repeat of what already happened back in the 1970s. So that's where inflation went out of control. I don't know if you guys remembered all that. We had inflation that was pretty bad. It had a lot to do with many different things besides gas and other things, but it was also the Federal Reserve playing around with monetary policy. So the Federal Reserve has said that they're very, very data dependent. They will repeat it again tomorrow, that they'll be watching everything closely, because that's all that they say over and over again. It's tiring. I'm sick and tired of actually listening to Jerome Powell. Can't wait to listen to somebody fresh. But I've never really liked any of the Federal Reserve for a myriad of different reasons, nothing to do with politics or anything like that, typically because I think that they're off base. So, but they're close. And by the way, my data was finally turned back on, and that's because of a government shutdown. And they're talking about another government shutdown that might affect my data coming up this weekend. So I'm kind of ticked about even that they would even go down that path again, but that's the direction they're going to go. And I was very, very moody and was not having a good time during that time period. It's the longest government shutdown of all time, and it actually messed the data up so much that there's an asterisk for the month of October. It just doesn't exist. So it's weird. And it messes with the data that I'm continuing to get. This is actually, we had a big giant job loss of 173,000. That was actually because of the government shutdown. That's what that was. And this overall, you can see this is through the month of December. It's been going at this direction. And this came out at the beginning of January, the second week of January. It's typically the first Friday of every month, except for January because of the holidays. They do it the second Friday. And this is the jobs report. It is a huge report. We get this report next Friday, a week from Friday. So it's a gigantic report. It's the biggest report of the month, and that's because everybody's wondering what's going on with labor right now. Is it breaking or is it going to solidify? So that's job creation. Now, unemployment rate has been going up. Now, this dip down is because of the ridiculous government shutdown. They're not adequately doing it. They've said that the participation rate across the United States went down, and it's just because things aren't the best. And also, you guys know about all the revisions and all that stuff. We actually are the gold standard of all governments around the world. It's just that we rely so much heavily on surveys. And we've been relying on surveys for so long, and nobody answers the survey. Nobody does. You guys don't even answer your phone if you don't recognize the number. And who in here does those surveys? Anybody? I have a hand in one of mine. One. So there's one person that's answering the survey. So who's being surveyed? I want to survey who's being surveyed, because I don't think it's really that accurate depiction of life anymore. So this is CPI. This too actually was hitting a height and then went down, but it went down because, again, of the government shutdown. They actually said for October, they said there was zero inflation for October. It's never zero inflation for any month, period. But they said that that's what it was, 0. So it's messing with these numbers as well. It's pretty much right at 3, but it's not going up like it did over here. Some people thought that tariffs would really go higher, but it's at 3 when it should have been making its way down to 2. So we have extra inflation due to the tariffs that were launched back in April. So this is the last year's worth of interest rates. Now, the Fed, they actually changed their short-term federal funds rate. That's what they talk about. It's not what we do. It's a short-term overnight banking rate, not 30-year mortgages, overnight.
So there's a difference there. And they change it 8 times per year. How often do mortgage rates change? Daily, and sometimes multiple times in a day. So, and you can see what happened. This was May, and last year at this time we were above 7%. And it wasn't until February that we went down below, but then we came back up. Now this was May of last year, we were above 7%, and slowly but surely the labor market was deteriorating, and then we saw interest rates come down where they should be. The year prior, we had interest rates come down where it should not have gone, and went all the way down to 1% in 2024. This time it came all the way down, and it was the right move. And then we went sideways for a while. And the reason why we got sideways is because we had no data. We had no data, and still the data is all messed up. So, and this right here, we finally made our way down to 6%. We were right there. It's like 6.01% for like a day. And then what happened over here, what was this? Does anybody know? This is the way news works. This was Greenland. Boom, like this, because of the whole Greenland thing. So it had to do with Greenland, NATO, all that stuff. So the news does move things as well. It doesn't move things like crazy, like we get these gigantic drops, but it definitely, you can see that it can change things. And I was like ticked. That's the only reason why I don't like politics, is because it affects my number lines like this. I'm doing great. I like 6%. Everybody like 6%? Yeah. Yes, exactly. I don't like 6.17%. I want 6. That's what I want. 6.0% is what I want. So now we're going to talk about the spread. I got great news for you. It's not this kind of spread. I love this kind of spread. I go to a farmer's market. I get bread at the farmer's market and French butter. Highly recommended. But that's not the spread I'm talking about. I'm just talking about the spread between the 10-year treasury and mortgage interest rates. And what it is actually mortgage-backed securities that investors purchase. But the reason they buy these mortgage-backed securities, the average, and why they're looking at 10-year treasuries and mortgage-backed securities, is because the average loan is held for 10 years. So they like to diversify their portfolio like they do with everything. So that's why they do both of them, and they kind of go together. And there's this love affair that goes all the way back to 1972, and you can check it with Freddie Mac and then look at what 10-year treasuries have done over time. And what happens with rates is this. When the economy is really strong and shows strength and resilience, that's where investors, they want the short stuff, stocks. They don't want the long-term stuff. That's what we do in this room. So because they don't want the long-term stuff, interest rates go up so that they make more money. That's why. And then when the economy slows, now they don't want to play in the short-term stuff. They want to play in the long stuff, us. And that's why rates go down, because everybody wants to play, their rate of return actually goes down. So that's what happens. So if we got a jobs report a week from Friday where it was really negative, like negative 100,000, which is not going to be, but if it did, we'd get into the 5s instantly. We'd have interest rates that would fall because now they're going to have to do more cuts than they originally thought. So that's really what it is because what they're thinking is, what does the Federal Reserve have to do with the latest data? So when they're doing it, they're constantly telling the Federal Reserve kind of where they need to go. The Federal Reserve will go there because that's what they need to do. And when we get those rate cuts, it's already baked into the system. That's why when they do the rate cut, you shouldn't expect anything to happen with rates at all. It will just, many times it actually goes up. So in the majority of the time over the last 2 years, when they did any kind of a rate cut, actually rates went up that day. And the fall through the next day as well. So this is the spread. This is 10-year treasuries. Interest rates are the red. 10-year treasuries are blue. And this is the average spread, 1.76, going all the way back to 1972. So, and this is in 2019 showing that. I'm going to fill it in the pink. You can see sometimes it's bigger, sometimes it's right on, sometimes it's bigger. What's going on? So this is 1.76. This over here is the Great Recession. Now, we sold mortgage-backed securities prior to the Great Recession, and they were a bunch of junk. And they lost money. Around the world, they lost money on our stuff. So anybody that was buying mortgage-backed securities wanted a premium. So the spread's higher. So interest rates are higher. Everybody's paying more for their interest rates because they were recouping all their losses from the Great Recession. That's what they were trying to do and saying, I'm not touching this stuff unless you give me extra. And then it went back down. And then from 2012 all the way to 2019, it hugged this 1.76. And then we hit this. Anybody recognize this? COVID. That's when overnight, either everything went, all my charts went way up or way down. That's where all of a sudden they were wondering, uh-oh, I know that you're closing, but I need a premium because you might close and then lose your job and go into forbearance, and I'm not making any money. So they wanted a premium. But then that went away really quick because we figured out how to navigate the world in the midst of a pandemic. And then it got all the way down to here. This rate right here was January of 2021. Remember the January 2021? We had 2.65% interest rates across the United States. It was the lowest interest rate of all time. Lowest interest rate. And that's where all those people that brag about the twos, they got it right over here. Right over here. But then all of a sudden this happened. And what was that? That was the Federal Reserve jacking up interest rates 11 consecutive meetings, going from 0 to 5.5%. So all of a sudden, there was a lot more that everybody had to charge, and the banks thought that everybody was dating the rate and marrying the house. So they said, you're going to be refinancing in 6 months, so I need to make money on this. So in order for me to make more money, I'm going to increase the spread. A lot, almost double. They were making a lot of money because they thought everybody was going to refinance. Boy, was everybody wrong. Because not a lot of people got the opportunity to refinance. Refinancing has gone into the toilet. And instead, they were holding on to all these extra profits for all this time, so the banking industry really made off with interest rates not collapsing. But, so over time, people go, the spread's never going to go back to normal. I said, yes, it will. It's kind of like, it's not even like watching concrete dry. It's like watching a rock form. I love it. I know it's going to happen, and people are going, you're lying. Look, it's not even that great after a year. I'm talking years. It's going to go back to normal. And sure enough, look what just happened. It came all the way down to here. The spread is normal. And this actually happened. What brought us, we were already making our way back there, and then there was the announcement of $200 billion of mortgage-backed security purchasing that the administration talked about, which, by the way, they were already buying them since May. And they bought them in the past, and $200 billion is nothing compared to the trillions the Federal Reserve bought to bring down rates. So it's not really going to bring down rates much more other than help the spread, and it just pushed the spread to where it needs to be, right where it normally is. And you can see this. This is 2023. Spread was gross, and we had 8% interest rates that year, remember? In October. And then, this was 2024. Spread's getting better. This is 2025, spread's getting even better, and you can see from May, when they started buying mortgage-backed securities, by the way, started continuing to go down. It was going to go down anyways, but that helped. And then this started this year, and this was the announcement of $200 billion. Look at this. It fell down to there. And we're almost back to normal. Spread is normal. And what we have as an interest rate today is 6.17%. If we had last year's spread, we'd be at 6.7%. If we had 2 years ago, 6.94%, 3 years ago, 7%. So I'll take our spread right now. I'll take our 6.17 and cash it. So nothing happened behind the scenes other than everything got better, and that's why rates have been coming down. If you're wondering how it happened, it was that magic. I said it was going to take years. Finally here. So people said, so what kind of interest rate are you praying for, Steve? Exactly 6.0%. That is what I want. And I know that everybody's saying, but what about the fives? I do want the fives. But for my millennials and Gen Zs, I want to wait until the second half of the year. And why? Because I want all this extra inventory. I want the millennials and Gen Zs to reward them that go at 6. It might go into the fives later on. The reason I don't want fives to match up during our winter and spring is because that's when our market would be crazy in the entry-level ranges. Then all the millennials and Gen Zs will be competing against the same properties. And remember what happens when too many compete? Prices go up, there's multiple offers, it's just dumb. It's already a tighter piece of the inventory, it's always the fastest piece of the market anyhow. So I want 6 now, and this is what I pray for. I get down on my knees all the time, so join my prayer, it's 6.0 second half of the year in the bus. So by the way, we've been it's 143 days that we've been below 6.5%. In 2024, we were there for 45 days. We're here for longevity, and it's not matched up with our winter and spring markets. We haven't had interest rates below 6.5 towards 6. We want those rates. That is what we want. That's why nobody knows what we're going to get for a year, but there is already a 10% increase in purchasing power because of where rates are year over year right now. That's it. So you need to be letting all of your clients know. I think there's an article out there that talks about the 10%. I think I saw it on one of my feeds. So the housing market. There are 5 distinct seasons to housing. And this is in terms of when we do the most pending sales activity. Number 1 is spring. Number 2 is summer, then it's fall, then it's winter, and the slowest are the holidays. I still don't understand why so many homes in the desert come on the market in August and September. I understand the heat starting to dissipate. It's just matching up with not the best time to sell your house and a lot of competition. So if I was gonna sell my house, I'd get on my horse right now and get it ready right now and come on when in February to be right in front of that spring market. So the slowest are the holidays. We're out of the holidays. Mid-January, it was not this weekend, but the last weekend, it was the official start of the winter market. That's, and before that, everybody was still at the gym. All the buyers were doing on the treadmill, waiting in line. And with their New Year's resolutions, but now their New Year's resolutions are gone. And they're going to go purchase a house. And this is, the winter market is when supply rises, and I wouldn't say, it's not been super slowly the last couple of years, like last year, but demand surges, and that's what we feel. That's why there's a lot of excitement, phones are ringing, things are starting to go, there's a lot more people out there looking at properties, and that's because of the timing of the year, of going from nothing to all of a sudden turning on the lighting. And that's what happens every year. And somebody said, because I did it in Orange County, I did it from 2 weeks prior. And let's see, so it'll be Thursday, it'll be 2 weeks prior, it's like January 15th. I did the numbers, and they go, are you like, is this your opinion that the market's gonna get better? Because during the first 2 weeks it was really slow in Orange County. And I said, no, it's not an opinion, it's like trends. And sure enough, within a few days, we already saw a pop in demand. And it's just, trend analysis will be able to articulate exactly where we're going. And this is the United States total housing inventory, which incidentally we're at 1,180,000 homes across the United States right now. We were a lot more, but it falls in the month of December. But you can see that the direction has been, since 2022, it's been going up. And this is what a lot of doomers, I call them it's like doom porn, it's like on the YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and wherever else you like to go, all these people that talk about incessantly that the market's gonna crash, and they've been wrong for years, you know what I'm talking about? You guys get to listen to that all the time, but I'm gonna show you that everything needs proper context, and this is the context, you see? This is what they show, and this is the same white lines. I'm sick and tired of the doomers, and I would like to go toe to toe with them. I've invited them, but at the end of the day, they believe what they believe, and they believe it. It's almost like a narcissist that believes their own lies. And that's pretty much the way it works. And they don't have any economic background to fundamentally show that the market's going to crash. This is the #1 reason the market's not going to crash, by the way. #1 reason that the market's prices aren't going to plunge, because we still don't have that much inventory. Matter of fact, we're over here right now because it came down in December. But up here, what it takes is a lot of homes on the market, a supply glut. We had that during the Great Recession, and we started it as early as 06. 06, 07, 08, we had 4 million homes on the market. That's way too many homes. I just told you we have 1,180,000. 4 million is where this was at. So that is a lot, not 1,180,000, 1,120,000, right? Just a 1,180,000. Anyway, that's supply glut. And this is where we're at right now. This is still a supply scarcity. Where we started off the year is over here, and you can see in 2020, this was prior to the COVID, you can see that this was January. If you draw a line across, it was the lowest level of all time, going back to 1982, when the National Association of Realtors started bringing back statistics and the population was less. So we already had a problem with inventory. People were talking about it, and we weren't building enough homes, and this was January of 2020. We're starting with less. Yes, it is more than where we were before, but these over here were hideous. In 2022, we had 800,000 homes on the market across the United States, not enough homes. So that's the #1 reason. And there's still not a lot of inventory because of this family. I've been stalking them for years. I have been. They're an awesome couple, and they did everything right. They got married, they bought a house, they had babies, and they don't have enough room in their house. They're doing everything on the porch. And because they're going to Cancun 4 times per year as well, and they go skiing, and they're just loving the life that they have because of how low their payment is. Why aren't they moving? Because their payment. Something I call hunkering down. People call it locked in. Not everybody's locked in. There's some people that could actually do it. Like this couple, they just can't go to Cancun 4 times per year, right? They need to like maybe go on a road trip instead. They can go see Utah on a road trip, that type of thing. So, but this family, they're not moving. It's what I call hunkering down. Now, 40% of everybody across the United States owns their home free and clear. The most ever. It was like 32 back prior to the Great Recession. It is at 40% now. So, and of those that actually still have a mortgage, which is 60%, in Nevada, and this is through the 3rd quarter of 2025, this is from the National Mortgage Database that I downloaded this beautiful Excel spreadsheet, and 69% of everybody in Nevada has interest rate at 5% or lower. Now this was a lot higher. Back in 2022, it was like 85%. So it's come down from 85 to 69, it's still 69%. 51% have an interest rate of 4% or lower, and 20% have an interest rate of 3% or lower. Back in 2022, it was 25%. So these are beginning to erode, and you're replacing them with higher than 5%. So, which means that there are 20%, if it's 69% below 5, that means that there are 31%, right, above 5%. So you guys have a lot more. In California, it's like, this is like 78%, so it's still really high. And so, who in this room has interest rate 3% or lower? That's a lot of hands, eagerly but not fast. So, of those people that just put their hand in the air, and I need you to be vulnerable. This is a vulnerable office, so I need you to be vulnerable. Who is thinking about moving in the next couple of years that just put their hand? Come on, somebody. Thank you for your vulnerability. Somebody is in here, and there's somebody else that's not. Somebody else is not. Also. Why are they thinking about moving right now? Because when are rates going to come down? Is anybody tired of waiting? The last time we had rates in the 5s was August of 2022, 40 months ago. That's a long time ago. So, I don't know, how long you have to wait? 60 months? 100 months? I don't know. So at the end of the day, that's a lot of months that you have to wait. After a while, people still need to go do things and sell their house. They might have refinanced their house during COVID, and yeah, they're able to go to Cancun all the time, but they want to move. They're going to exercise the right of transferring their equity into something else. And so this is Clark County's new listing on a monthly basis, and this is the 3-year average prior to the pandemic. I used to have all of them up there all the way back to 2011. This is just 2017, 18, and 19. Now, this is hard for me to show you this because since 2019, you've built 10% more homes. So if you have 10% more homes, that's a lot of houses, and if 10% place their homes on the market every like 5 years, 10% of a bigger number is a bigger number. So when I'm showing you what's happened in the last year, there's a lot of people that moved into these brand new houses that could be moving, so it's adding to your overall inventory. There are more homes available, and there will be a lot more. So we're always comparing to 2019. So when everybody compares to 2019, plug your ears when it comes to the homes coming on the market. That doesn't make sense. We shouldn't be looking at that because of this. We're very close to the 3-year average, but we've built a lot of homes since, that was 2017, 18, and 19. You guys have been building homes for many, many years. This is a place that didn't exist. A lot of places over here didn't exist in Vegas. Vegas is just huge now. So this was, by the way, this blue line is 2023, when nothing came on the market, and we couldn't even build an inventory. So demand was really low, but nobody came on the market. You couldn't build that many homes on the market, so the inventory was really low, so prices actually went up in 2023. And it was hard for anybody to imagine that interest rates can go from 3.25% all the way above 7%, and yet values are still going up. It made absolutely no sense. And now you know why millennials and Gen Zers are going, my gut says it has to correct. That, by the way, is the argument that I get on all of my channels. It just has to correct. Doesn't make sense. Then why are people purchasing today? There's still buyer demand that's out there. So this is the blue line, 2023. In 2024, we placed more homes on the market. Now, demand wasn't changing because we were stuck between 6.5% and 7.5% of interest rates for 3 years. And so as a result, those extra homes that were coming on the market were accumulating. And so more and more homes were accumulating, so we built an inventory. And then this last year, we built a lot more homes than the last 2 years, and same demand, it was really accumulated. So that's how we built the inventory. And you can actually see that we came right with 2024, a little bit higher than came back to 2024. And the reason that there were a lot of people coming on the market at a lot more like they were earlier in the years, because everybody heard how bad the market is. So a lot of homeowners, they don't really have to sell, so you're going, I'm not going to sell them. And that's what happened across the country. You could see it in all of them. A lot of them actually dipped underneath of it, which was interesting. So that's where we are, where it was identical to 2024. We're up 11% year over year in terms of for sell signs, 2025 and 2024, up 5,100 signs. But if you compare it to 2023, it was up 30%, 11,500 extra for sale signs. Same amount of demand. So that's why they were accumulating. And you still are missing 7% compared to the 3-year average. You're going to get very close to the 3-year average this year. And that's because that was forever ago. So we're comparing it to 2017, 18, 19, which was 9 years ago for 2017. So Clark County, active inventory. Look at how many homes you guys had on the market in 2022. A little bit over 2,000. That is dumb. And now look at you guys. Proud. Right there. Lots of homes on the market. And this is the beginning of the year. That's all I've got so far. 2 points. This is the active inventory. You guys actually went down, one of the few markets that went down over the last couple of weeks. Most markets actually were sideways or went up because of all the people that pull their homes off the market during the holidays that relist. And today you're at 8,895. That's down 3% or down 248 homes from 2 weeks prior. Last year we were at 7,395, which is 1,500 fewer homes. And 2 years ago we were at 4,948, which is 44% less, almost 4,000 fewer homes. So that is absolutely amazing. And then if you see that where we're going to go from here is, it looks like it's going to follow the red line, is really what ultimately it's going to do. But this could go flat like this and go underneath of last year if we maintain rates as close to 6% as possible. So we'll have a hard time building an inventory because we'll be doing more pending sales activity. And that's why I've been praying for 6%. Now, you know, for my millennials, Gen Zs, and us, because we all need to be doing more transactions as an industry, because we've been taking it on the chin ever since they changed it in 2022. And so, oh, by the way, that is where you guys peak, typically way over here. You guys peaked a little bit later over the last couple of years, and that is because of the we had higher rates at the end of the year for the last several years. So we have supply that's been increasing, but it's still actually really low supply compared to where we've been in time. And we have the same amount of low demand. Demand hasn't changed. And that's because we've been stuck between 6.5% and 7.5%. Now, I did this, and I do this, repeat this often in lots of my reports, because if you want $3,000 per month with 20% down, just principal and interest, you're looking at a payment that's 20% down principal and interest, just the payment of $3,000. At 7%, which is where we were at the end of May, you're looking at a $564,000 house. And when we make our way down to 6, because we're a little bit below that 6, you're at $625,000. Now we were there a week and a half ago. And then you can see down in the 5s, you can see you can get to 660. So that's $100,000 extra buying power. That's huge. This is why I don't want to get in the 5s right away, second half of the year for my millennials and Gen Zs. I want to do it for them because I have Gen Zs and yes, and one millennial. So this is Resi Club. They do this survey. Take this with a grain of salt. I just said the word survey again. But they said that through this is first quarter, third quarter. If you're a homeowner, what is the interest rate that will get you to consider maybe making a move? At 7%, only 14% in the third quarter. At 6%, 52%. At 5.5%, 66%. What does this tell you? More for sale signs that turn into buyers. if rates come down. This is, everybody should know this. And people said it needs to be 5.5% is where the secret sauce is. It is 6. It was 5.5%, but it's 6 because we've been stuck at this level for such a long period of time. And then Clark County, Vegas demand. This is 2022. I don't have they don't go back in time like many of my other counties, but you can see these are the triplets, 23, 24, 25. Oh, and this is the beginning of 26, right there. Starting it. And this is where we're at. It looks very much like last year, doesn't it? Very, very much like last year. And we're surging right now, higher from 2 weeks ago. And it will continue to surge. Today we're at 1970, up 23%, or up 373 pending sales from 2 weeks ago, total pending sales in a 30-day period of time. This is demand. It's a 30-day snapshot of pending sales, because some stuff stays pending forever. So last year, 1993, that was 23 extra pending sales. So this was a really low number since I started tracking, but it's very similar to last year. And 2 years ago, we were at 2275, which is up 15%, or up 305. That is the purple line. And so where we're gonna go straight up, and it could exceed this. We gotta be at 6. Gotta be as close to 6 as possible so we exceed this and actually go above it. Because we haven't really been above it for a long time. I can show you 2022 was above this. And that's that's the direction we can not quite be 2022, but it could be, it'll be above the last few years. And this is the speed of the market. Place your home on the market. When are you going to come a pending sale? And you can see that look at this. Anything really low is very fast. The expected market time for the entire, for everywhere was right around 20, and it even got into the teens. That is a ridiculous level. We were there for 2 years during COVID at a ridiculous level. You guys remember what it was like. It was the dumbest market you've ever participated in. Hopefully we never participate in that again, because it's very unhealthy. And you can see this is 23, 24, 25, and always at the end of the year, it's been slowing down like crazy. This was 2022, really fast, really slow. And it really came down. Why? Because inventory came down and demand surged. So right now it's getting faster by the minute. By the day, it's getting faster and faster. This is where we are. Expected market time. Today's at 135, went down 37. So at the very beginning of the year, it felt a little frozen because it was. It was a snapshot of the last 30 days, which included the holidays. So last year we were at 111. That's the red line. And 2 years ago we were at 65. That is the purple. 2 years ago, purple. And this is where we're going to go is down, and it could go down further. It just depends upon rates. So we're watching rates very closely like everybody else is. And the fastest time in the market, by the way, incidentally, when are you going to come on the market? Why do people wait till August? Why? Does this make any sense to you? Look at when it's the meatiest. It's over here. And that's where you want to play. Look at last year. It was literally February and part of March, and then it started to go up higher and higher and higher the longer you waited. So that's why you want to come on the market earlier. And you got some people that go, yeah, I don't want to come on the market until September. Fine, go ahead. Knock yourself out. It's just slower, but that's fine. I will still be here to represent you. So a lot of the market feels sluggish. Some neighborhoods and price ranges feel a little bit more balanced, and there's some homes that feel like hot sellers markets. You guys know what it's like, because they're on their phones all the time. They understand values so well, and they know the market really well. And when something new comes on, because they're looking at morning, noon, tonight, they look at every virtual tour, all the pictures, then they look at the price, and they really, if it's wow, they contact you and say, I want to see this like now. And then you go show them the house. The problem is those wow properties, because they come out and they go, I want to write an offer. Those wow properties, there are 4 other buyers that do the same thing and say, wow. And then they all write an offer, so now you have 5 offers. How many sellers are there? 1. And it's like this. This is that supply and demand scale. It's like this. This is where, who wins in this? Me, the seller. That's the way, they gotta understand that. It's just the way that economics works with supply and demand. And so what you have to then tell them is, you're gonna have to go above the asking price. And they say, I don't wanna go above the asking price. Well, you're not gonna get the property. So sorry. There's a chunk of the market that, like 10% of the market that sells above the asking price, you will get none of it. And you want to get a deal, you can't even do at asking price. Well, there's another chunk of the market that you will not get. So I'm sorry, won't be able to get. But I'm gonna have you meet with my lender, and we're gonna figure out how much it is to go $3,000 above the asking price. And then you figure it out, it's like a few thousand, it's like $25 a month or something like that. And then you ask them, do you have the Starbucks app? And they say, yes, I do. And does it automatically reload? Yes. How often? Once a month, $25. Oh, really? Why don't you take that puppy off and go buy yourself a house? We gotta talk, make it simple so they understand it, because they're gonna pass up this house over $25 a month. Seriously, it sounds a little silly, but they don't understand it. They're just got this pride thing. I heard it's slow, I'm not going above the asking price. I heard that nobody's doing that. Well, they heard wrong. And this is, below everything, all my text is this. This is every city. Not a lot of cities in Clark County, by the way. And there are other cities, but they're so tiny that they have like 5 sales a year. I don't include those because you can't properly do the statistics based upon them. They're included in the all of Clark County. So this is gonna tell you what it is. I'm not gonna expect you to see that. I'm gonna show you what we were last year. Last year we were at 110 for Las Vegas. It's at 144 right now. Remember, it's gonna speed up. This is a depiction of the start of the year. So take that with a grain of salt. Boulder City was at 94 last year, 186 this year. Henderson, 114 last year, 127 this year. Laughlin, 315, 284. Mesquite, 150, 72. And they have been slow. And then all of a sudden, they're getting faster. And then North Las Vegas, 98 last year, 96 this year. So there you go. My market overview, and then we'll do our forecast. So luxury is the top 10% of the market, which is 750,000 plus. That's the top 10% of all closed sales. 90% fall below $750,000. And year over year, the inventory is up 20%, up 293 homes. Demand is up 2%, up 5 pending sales. So inventory is up more than demand. So as a result, the expected market time is at 204 versus 173 last year at this time. Need to know this stuff for luxury. And you need to like drill it down by price range as well, which you could do. This is attached and detached by price range. You can see 3 million plus is 836 day expected market time, because not a lot of people are lining up to buy $3 million pluses. There are 223 and 8 went into escrow within the last, or pending sale in the last 30 days. And so this is actives, demand, expected market time. What was expected market time 2 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, 1 year ago, almost 2 years ago, this coming in May. And then we'll have 2 years ago data. So, and this is attached versus detached. Guess which one is slower? Attached. Used to be the other way around. Way back in the day, I don't go back far enough for you guys to see it, but you can actually see that here's the difference, the disparity. Attached is taking longer, 169 versus 124 for detached, because condos are having a problem with reserves, with insurance issues, with litigation, all that stuff, and non-QM loans. So that means that not everybody will lend in there, so they're having problems, that's why it's slower. It's like this almost in every market, but not all. And Clark County luxury closed sales was down 34 closed sales year over year. For all 12 months, it's down 1%. And for all price ranges, it's down 7%, down 2,094 closed sales year over year, 2024 and 2025. And we have a closed sales report that comes out on a monthly basis. On that report, you get this in front of every buyer so that they understand that they might have to go above the asking price. Remember that knucklehead that has to get a deal? Well, the numbers that sold below the list price were actually 60%, which means 40% sold at or above, which means 4 out of 10 houses they will never get. So go ahead, knock yourself out. You're not gonna get the wow factor houses, period. You're not gonna get them. December, this is, by the way, December's data. Sold at the list price, 17%. Sold above the list price, 23%. That's a lot. So that's a big portion of the marketplace. And then December 2025 cash is 34%. Cash is a big chunk of your market right now, and just because we're not doing enough loans right now. Rates go down, we do more loans, it goes back into the teens where it belongs. Now I'm using Zillow House Price Index because quite frankly, Zillow has a really good HPI and it comes out faster, and it's better than medians. And Zillow is free. I know it's the Z word, but they have this free data source called, if you Google Zillow Data Research, they actually have a forecast for every zip code in the United States from December of 2025 to December of 2026. So when your client asks you where are values going, they have the best depiction anywhere because they have a lot of economists that they pay handsomely. So take advantage of them. They took advantage of us. We'll go take advantage of them for free. It's Zillow research data. And you can see that we went negative, but it's not as negative right now. And that's through November. Why is it not as negative right now? And that is because, this is actually December. It's down 1.9% year over year, so not a giant fall overnight. It's almost down 2% year over year. But it's only down 0.1% month over month, and the reason why it's going this direction is because rates are below 6.5%. As a matter of fact, by January, February, it's going to be positive. And if we stay at 6%, it will be positive for most of the year. So year over year, you can expect values to go up as long as we stay between 6 and 6.5%. And so demand and supply, this is this thing where what's happened, demand hasn't changed over the last few years, I told you that. We just added a lot of supply year over year, a little bit more supply, more homes come on the market, a little bit more supply, and now it's favoring buyers a little bit. Just the scale is a little bit askew, not plunging. We don't have a bunch of new houses, we have a few extra. So that's just the nature of supply and demand. But interest rates below 6.5% is evening out that balance, and we go into the spring with below 6.5%, it's gonna go like this. And it's gonna be at the advantage of sellers. So that's how you explain it, it's that supply and demand scale. So we have to be very careful on pricing, spend 3 hours pricing your homes right, send them the net less, spend a lot of time talking to them, and they will want to talk about price knowing that they will flush money down the toilet. They just want to come up with the right price because they'll be on the market for a long time. Now in Clark County right now, everything available, 38% has reduced the asking price once already. So people flushing cash. And then there's a lot of overpriced stuff that's still out there. Who has an overpriced listing in here? And another vulnerable, I love how quickly, he's the only one. There we go, we have two. You guys know I had them made in 2022. Your sign company will make these too. My old one did, because I don't do it anymore, but they laughed, we took pictures together. This is fun. You utilize this. Take a picture with it now after this meeting. I've had a lot of people take pictures with this meeting. You get this in front of your clients. And you come to the listing table and you say, yes, Stephen Thomas from Reports on Housing said that we don't want to overpriced. Remember the net less I sent you last night? And you will have a really intelligent, mature talk about price, which is what we want so that they sell and you earn a commission. That's about it. So, and the number of homes that came off the market has surged. And year over year, you can see we're up 66%, 8,627 more homes pulled off the market in 2025 versus 2024. A lot of houses pulled off the market. A lot of people that don't have to sell. Lots. And why didn't they sell? Because they didn't receive offers at their desired price return or never received an offer. Come on, let's be realistic. And then decided to rent instead of sell, 12%. A lot of them are renting. And we're developing our report. We've already done it for counties. We're releasing one county per month. We have a lease report that's coming to Clark County. So we'll have a lease report. Besides every other week you get a report, you get a sold report once a month, and you'll get a lease report once a month as well. So this is, prices will not crash. Prices will not crash. It takes 3 ingredients. I told you, we do not have enough inventory. We have low demand. You are right. We have low demand because everything's unaffordable. I get that, Doomer. So that's the only thing that we have. The third thing we're missing are people that have to sell. There aren't enough must-sells out there. We had them during the Great Recession, and that was in the form of people didn't own their house. They were upside down in their house. It was a short sale and foreclosure bonanza. We got up to nearly 4,000 foreclosures in 1 month. Where are we at as of December 29th? Where were we in 2019 at the same time period? 59. We're making our way back up to where we were prior to the pandemic. Yes, it's been rising from here to here. You can't even see it. It's this tiny little blue line. It's down there. Trust me, it's there. And but we're not going to have our national delinquency rate's really low. I don't care what people say. They say things about FHA and all that stuff. I know it all. I've done YouTube. I'm not a know-it-all. I know all what they say. I have an answer for them on YouTube. and why we're not gonna have foreclosures. I had to do an article on it. One of my reports was on foreclosures because too many people were talking about foreclosures still. It just drives me nuts. It's just not gonna happen. It's not gonna materialize. I don't care. You remember the Great Recession, it doesn't repeat just because you remember it. That's just not how it works. But I remember my first birthday. I can't repeat it. So there you go. Actually, by new home sale, this is new home sales, month of supply by stage of construction. They talk about all the homes that are, this is months under construction, but there's a number of them that are not even started yet. But you can see this, that we have built inventory that has not been sold. And you have that, which is why you hear from your new home builders here in Vegas. Because they don't like this. They're not happy with 2. It went up even higher, but it came back down to 2. And they're very happy about rates, but they're not used to competing with so many residential resale right now. That's what they're doing. They're competing with us. But we're competing with them, so you need to know what they're offering. So, but they also, they give you dirt and you have to make it look really pretty. So, new home permanent buy down usage rate, they're doing 21 largest home builders, most of them here in Clark County. If you see this, it's like over 60%, it's like 63% are offering permanent buy downs. Permanent buy downs. That's not temporary. My niece bought a house at the beginning of last year. I persuaded her to do it. She is in Michigan. She has a rate in the 4s, permanently. And her house, this is a suburb out in the suburbs of Detroit, and it was like $320,000 or something like that. So, there you go. My 2026 forecast. So, I don't know. I actually switch this every year because I cannot find a duplicate slide. It goes to the right last year, left this year. Is anybody for sure certain where we're going? I'm not.
You should have put some note there.
Yeah, right. My 2026 concerns. Federal Reserve chaos, leave them alone, for Pete's sake. It's gonna be in the news quite a bit. I'm tired of talking about Federal Reserve, but since it's in the news, I have to talk about it. You shouldn't even care about the Federal Reserve. Rates rise and remain elevated during the spring like they did the last 2 years. I don't want rates above 6.5%. And if they did that, it would be lame for our marketplace. Labor market strengthens, that's what can cause it. Or inflation rises and stays elevated, that can cause it above 3s. I don't think we're gonna get there. I don't think the labor market's gonna strengthen, but we've been wrong before. Nobody knows what the reports look like until the reports come. And initial unemployment claims kind of tell it, it's kind of like the same old, same old. We're not getting a crash in the job market. By the way, initial unemployment claims come out every Thursday, in case you're wondering. It needs to be 300,000 or above, and it's like right at 2 right now. So it's not flashing red alert. My 2026 Clark County forecast is normal housing season. Spring is the best. Distress rises slightly, no way. Hunkering down trend, no longer a factor in Clark County because we built too many homes. Can't compare it to 2017, 18, and 19. We still have, well, I have figured out something. I've got to get the counter recorder's office and figure out how many units have been built total, how many have sold year over year, and then look at it through the counter recorder's office. So I do have a way around this. I'm going to figure out percentages. I'm going to show you that. And then luxury market strengthens by spring, cools the second half of the year. The market cools, luxury cools even more. So when are you gonna come on when you're luxury? First half of the year. Not gonna come on the market till July. Good, knock yourself out. Slow the market, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go for it. Interest rates from 5 3/4 to 6 3/4%. You're gonna have a very hard time getting above 6 3/4 because the spread is better. That thing behind the scenes that got better that I knew would, and people said I was lying and all that stuff. I turned out to be right, but they don't come back to my blog or my podcast or anything like that. Blog, date myself. Scenario 1, I have 3 scenarios. This is our base case. This has it's increasing percentage-wise because we're getting further along. We're in the winter market and we haven't. We haven't had long duration of rates between 6 and 6.5% with the economy continue cooling, not robust. That's where we're at right now. And rise inventory to 11,000 homes. Demand picks up due to lower rate environment, and bidding wars are more common, especially within the entry level. So that's gonna happen come this spring. So know that. And then closed sales up between 4 and 7%, and home values up between 1 and 3%. We can get all the way up to 3%. You just keep my interest rate at 4%. That's where I want it to be, and then we'll get, just pray for that. Now, starting at 2 is labor market breaks to start 2026. Rates drop between 5 3/4 and 6% with duration, and now you have rising inventory to only 10,000 homes. So not as many homes on the market because it's busier and demand accelerates. This is if the labor market all of a sudden goes negative. Demand accelerates, and then plenty of buyer competition, especially in the entry level, and it will actually heat up as the year goes on, reminiscent of 2019. And bidding wars begin in the spring. Entry level is first for Clark. And then close sales up between 8 and 10%. That's juicy, but at the expense of millennials and Gen Zs. Home values in 2026 between up 3 to up 5% year over year. And then you have this. This is my least likely scenario. It's getting less and less as we go on, but it could happen. This is economy resilient start 2026. Now we have a labor market that actually strengthens. Rates stuck now between 6.5 and 6 3/4% with duration, which means very much like the last 2 years, which means rising inventory to 13,000 homes, and with more homes accumulating on the market because demand's less. Demand's similar to 2025 with a brief spring, and then sluggish market with plenty of seller competition. Be extremely careful on pricing. You should be careful on pricing, but there even more so, because you will sit. And then buyers not willing to stretch, closed sales between down 1 to up 2%, and home values down 3 to down 1%. So I'm not rooting for this. But this, you have to know that this could happen. And because nobody knows the data. Remember my boggy slide. So by the way, we do a housing debrief every Thursday or Friday. I upload it to YouTube. Go there. My handle's reports on housing. The way I talk is, today is how I talk here. I just bring the facts and the data, no narratives, and it ticks people off. People get mad. There's this one guy that just kept on going. Another guy that went to AI and put in, rebut this, and then put it in there, put a giant paragraph. And I go, please don't use AI. Where did you come up with this? Copilot is what he said he used. Oh, no, that's nice. That's neat. That's Copilot. So then I did answer it, and he did it again with another giant thing. And I go, that's it. I stuck that thing into chat to respond to this because it was so dumb, and it was so many different dumb points. And then chat did it. And I kept on going until I got him to stop responding in AI mode. And I will, from now on, when anybody says AI, I'm going to go, I'm not responding to this AI. Come up with your own conclusions about the marketplace. Because AI is not very proficient when it comes to my data. Please cite your sources. I said, cite your sources. He said, Copilot. Seriously. Copilot does not cite your sources. Where did they get it? And then we do Let's Talk Housing, reports on housing. This is Brennan, my son, and we go back and forth, and he just lists off just a whole bunch of questions, and it comes out every other Wednesday. So that's a lot of fun, working with my kid. And then weekly text messages, they come out every Friday. So this Friday, a weekly text message comes in. You sign up for the report, you opt in the very first email you get. You must be a subscriber, and you'll get the change in the speed of the market, inventory, and demand every week. And there's a graphic for you to click on too. And then, like I told you, Las Vegas has a sold report. This is where it has that one awesome, beautiful chart that I talked about. The numbers that sold above the ask price, and coming soon is the lease analysis report that we're developing for Clark County as well. It will come out on a monthly basis. You have to be subscribed for that too. Reportshouse.com is where you go to subscribe. It comes out every 2 weeks. This is NetLess. If you want NetLess, put it on the top. And at the bottom, there's a bunch of links for you to repurpose. There's a video for you to watch. There's a bunch of social media posts. $20 per month or $200 per year. You get a month free to sign up utilizing this. So who wants to subscribe to the report that's in here?
I've got an AI for you.
Anybody want to subscribe to the report? Fill it out. Here's what it is. Fill this out and test drive it. You will not be charged until day 30. So on day 29, you can cancel. It's no work for me. Just pierce on my tape. You'll do it. It's like invest in your businesses. Because seriously, there are other Clark agents that are utilizing it, and Orange County agents in San Diego and LA that have had it for years, they swear by it. They say it's a big piece of their business. So raise your hand.
Guys, if you just pick just a little bit of this information, there's tons and tons of it. Just pick what you want to use. The luxury market alone, all the information is wow, for $20, it's crazy. Stuff you don't have to do that you give your clients on a listing presentation. Or working with your buyers, it's amazing. Give Stephen a big hand. All right, so I know we ran along, you knew we ran along, but real quick, I got a couple announcements and I want to bring up Nora real quick. Nora, come up and say hi.
Oh, hey, everybody. Happy New Year. Jeff, it's so good to see you.
Yes, thank you.
Great. This is what happens when you're gone. We can't wait to all get
Yeah, I'm alive.
to you. I just wanted to say hi, just remind you of a couple things. We have an ongoing military discount, 20% on all plans. Ongoing first responders discount, including doctors and nurses, 20%. You have clients that you closed in the last 90 to 120 days. They closed without a home warranty. Call them up. All you have to do is connect them with me, and I'm happy to get them onto a plan, even though it's outside of contract. And lastly, video chat. I'm going to send an email out today, but last year we launched our app. One of the features on the app is there's a live video chat where your clients can get on a free video chat with a contractor in real time before they make the claim. The idea is we help them either DIY the repair or we troubleshoot it, so when we do send somebody out, it gets done quicker. But I'll be around, so
Good,
we'll see
thank
you.
you. By the way, you guys know that I love this time, by the way, Steve. And we know about this because every week we talk about the numbers. We have about 600 homes every week reduced. So stop.